Welcome to the eStockCar World Series on Maconi Entertainment. Tonight, we head to Talladega Super Speedway, the largest and fastest track of its type in the world. The drivers have already seen the twisting road courses, through mud at the Coliseum, and now to the ultra-wide Super Speedway in Alabama. My name is Joey Atterbury, and joining me in the booth is Will Tiller. David Kreutz working the controls as our producer, and the camera angles being provided by Dougie Beard. Tonight, race number 7. The points are starting to take shape, and we're going to see who can avoid the big one here. Blake Reynolds and Barrett Polimas have been strong all season. Will one of them take home another win tonight? Talladega is a legendary track that needs no introduction to any NASCAR fan, but Will, what can we expect to see here tonight?
Yes, sir. This is sweet home Alabama. This state is home to the late great Forrest Gump. It is also 2.66 miles in length. Dega is a track that was opened in 1969 with last major track change taking place in 1990. That start finish line is after the end of pit road and the trial, a unique feature of the facility. 33 degrees of banking in the corners, Joey, and a seating capacity of 175,000 strong here in Alabama.
Going to be quite a race tonight here, and you're seeing the 81 of Matthew Jarrett get out onto the track, and we're going to be in these NASCAR trucks and 45 laps here at Talladega, which comes out to be about 120 miles at this very wide super speedway. And right now on track, we're going to have 5 minutes of qualifying, and it is solo qualifying, so it'll be a little bit interesting. The pace will be different. The cars are going to be acting different, and as you see everybody get up to speed, they're going to be rocking this high lane, and then they're going to move down and really paint the line all the way around the racetrack for the lowest, or I should say the shortest distance around the track.
Yeah, Joey, and I just touched on it too. That start-finish line is in a unique position at a track like Talladega. We watch now down into the first set of corners. That degree of banking here, we're going to see that 3 wide situation is very unique aspect from coming from the dirt at Bristol last week, Joey, to a track like this. It's anybody's ball game here as we watch the 81 machine down to 3 here in qualifying.
Well, and I mentioned that these times aren't going to be very representative of actually what we're seeing out on the racetrack during the race, because when they get hooked up in these drafting lines, they get going so much faster. And we're going to see a lot of pushing tonight, probably 2 wide and even 3 wide, like you just mentioned, because Talladega is different from Daytona in that look at how wide this racetrack is. 4 wide is really no big deal here in certain parts through the tri-oval, and 3 wide through the banking, certainly plenty of space.
As we're taking a look at qualifying here on Maconi Entertainment, that's Matthew Jarrett in that 81 machine. And Joey is going to ask you, as you watch this 81 down the backstretch here in this qualifying run, how exciting is it for a driver to see a course like Talladega come up on the schedule, knowing that everybody's familiar with this racetrack, and it's a racetrack that everybody seems to run pretty good in if you're not tagged up in one of those big ones?
Well, I think if you're a driver, it's either you like it or you hate it, because it's a giant unknown. And what I mean by unknown is you come here and all these trucks should be pretty similar pace and speed, so you're not going to be off pace. However, just surviving can be a challenge in its own. And when you're in these drafting packs, you really don't have anywhere to go. And if you're further back, sometimes you're just at the whim of how other people are racing, and you can get caught up in the big one, like we were saying. And right now, got about 1.5 minutes left in qualifying. The times are starting to roll in. Only got 2 laps for each of these trucks. And right now, on the provisional pole is the number 69 of Tyler Green, followed by Hayes Booth. Pretty regular name that we see up front here in this series.
Yeah, as you watch this 19 machine rocking a pretty good looking paint scheme here tonight, Joey. We won't be able to miss that 19 that's nesting in that 19 machine across this front stretch right now, as we have just about a minute left in this qualifying session in the eStockCar World Series this week. As Joey touched on, we're taking on the high banks at Talladega, that 19 machine. See where they end up in that run there, as we have currently about 17 trucks that have taken their qualifying run.
You mentioned it, 17 trucks, and I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trucks out there that are opting not to do a qualifying time. And this will be something that we'll have to keep an eye on, Will, because I know that in real life, pack racing, super speedway racing, some people opt to kind of hang out at the back to try to avoid the big one. And also, it's quite well known that qualifying doesn't really matter too much here at super speedway racing. It's all about that survival.
It doesn't really, Joey, and you touched on it too. There's going to be a lot of pushing here tonight, a lot of draft work as well. So the driver in this race, you have to be patient, you have to be smart, you have to channel your inner Neo here tonight to avoid some of that action on the track. Joey, remember how you have to lean back to avoid? That's what some of these drivers will have to do here tonight as we take on Talladega.
Well, qualifying is officially over, and that means we have our starting grid. The number 69 of Tyler Green was able to hang on, claims the pole position. He will be leading this field to the green flag today. Hayes Booth going to be joining him outside row number 1 in the second place position. Matthew Jarrett there in the number 81 truck, third. Sean Winkler, fourth. Eric Whitner in the top 5, and Connor Berry in 6th. Keaton Swain, 7th. Barrett Polimus, 8th. John Lynch there, 9th. And Sean Williams rounding out the top 10.
Pick up in the 11th position, that's Josh Edmondson in that 58 machine. Douglas Dashlet in that 23 roll off 12th here tonight. 13th would be that 19 machine of Troy Neeson. We saw that qualifying run. 14th machine would be AJ Marsh in that 34 machine. 15th will be Ashley Lyle. We haven't seen Ashley in a while, Joey. Very confident in her ability here at Talladega, rolling off in the 15th position. 16th, we'll have Christopher Fathke in that 08. 17th, Patrick O'Toole in that 44. 18th will be Vinny Tiger in that 30 machine. 19th position, we are looking at Riley Marbell in that 92. Matthew Hofford in that 84 machine will roll off 20th. And to round out the rest of our field here tonight, Joey, we have Paul Mikologic rolling off 21st. Nate Ramsey rolling off 22nd. And to round out our field, we have Brian Tollier in that 38.
And as I mentioned it earlier, tonight going to be doing 45 laps here in these trucks, 120 miles for the race, and got a couple fast repairs available to these drivers. It's actually only one fast repair that they have available to them, and they are on a fixed setup, so you're not going to see any of these trucks scoot away and clear anybody just based off of the setup. They're going to be pretty equal in speed in terms of what we see out there on the racetrack. And if you're interested in getting your own broadcast here on the big screen, head on over to www.MaconiSetupShop.com and click on that Maconi Entertainment tab up in the top of the screen and fill out that info there, and Jeff can get back to you on how to get your league, your race, your special event broadcast here on Maconi Entertainment with the commentary booth. And also check out MaconiSetupShop.com, and they have subscriptions starting at just $8 per month, and they're the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and more on the iRacing service. So head on over to their website, just click on the car that you find and drive the most, download one of those setup subscriptions, and instantly start dropping that lap time out there on the racetrack. And Will, any final thoughts here as the pace truck heads down into Speedway 3? Pull out that crystal ball for me. What are we going to see?
No, here tonight, I think we're going to see a patient pace to start off the race. I'd say about 4 or 5 laps in. After that, Joey, these drivers will waste no time of putting those noses on fenders, trying to get around each other. Going to see those 3 wide situations early here tonight with only a 45 lap shootout here at Talladega. Expect those fireworks to fly here tonight.
Now, you mentioned it. The green flag start-finish line is all the way past the tri-oval. Now, this plays a key strategy point in the lanes you choose during the race, but right now for the start, it is in the hands of Tyler Green, the number 69 truck, and got to patiently wait all the way up into this restart zone. He is in the zone now. We are waiting for Barney the Flagman, and he is on the loud pedal. These trucks are accelerating here at Talladega Super Speedway, and you see immediately the top lane of Hayes Booth get a pretty good jump out front, and that brings up the number 17 of Sean Winkler, now the fastest truck on the top side, being pushed by Connor Berry.
Connor Berry in that 2 machine coming off of 2 with a huge push on that top side lane. We see now that run that's building from that top side lane as we dig down to corner number 3. Winkler currently our race leader in that 17 machine. Already starting to see trucks pull out of lane as we're to the apex of 3 and 4. These drivers have wasted no time as now Darth Vader himself, that 79 Barrett Belhemus, is battling for the race lead.
And it's the 69 of Tyler Green that dropped all the way to the back of the pack. That was our pole sitter, and I would assume this is based off a strategy, but I got to tell you what, Will, he cannot lose touch with the field, because if he loses that draft, he is going to be in a really bad situation.
Yeah, Tyler Green, that 69 machine. Usually we see that 69 in the middle of the pack, Joey. I would say in the positions of 15 to 20. Solid truck each week. Just very average in the middle. Here tonight, just losing pace quick, fast, in a hurry. And as you mentioned, Joey, only 45 laps to go, but we see the type of crazy 5 o'clock traffic that's happening in this pack as now Connor Berry is our race leader around the corner.
Yeah, Connor Berry got pushed to the front from that outside lane, and once he was clear of the leaders, he went down in front of the 79 of Barrett Polimas. Now, we mentioned a couple of these drivers before the show, just in terms of where they were starting, but Barrett Polimas currently your points leader when it comes into the 6 races so far, and then Connor Berry, your second place in the championship. So we are really seeing the top drivers, and in fact, here comes Keaton Swain, 3rd place in the championship. These are all your top 3 running, top 3 on the racetrack.
Folks, if you're watching along with us here on Maconi Entertainment, if you don't know who Connor Berry is, we invite you to go ahead and Google Connor Berry iRacing. You'll see all the accolades, all the awards this man has earned in the off-road truck, Joey. But here on the concrete, on the asphalt, he is now leading this race off of corner number 4. Connor Berry, our race leader, but this race is just heating up here. Across the line, lap number 4.
And you mentioned it, Ashley Lyle, who we haven't seen in a while, making it 3 wide all the way back here in the number 51 truck, trying to make some progress on that very top lane. And going to be interesting to see the different lanes and how they work today, if that top lane is able to get formed up. But it looks like it might have some good momentum, as I see 5 trucks all the way up top, and we have 3 wide racing in, let's say, the 4th on back, and things are getting a little bit squirrely back there.
Things are getting very squirrely indeed, Joey, as we come off of corner number 4. You touched on it, 3 wide racing all the way down the pack. But now we are 2 by 2 across this front stretch right now. Connor Berry still leading the way as Barrett Belhemus putting pressure as trucks are slipping and sliding on the front stretch. We have trouble. Hayes Booth in the 5. Trucks are crashing at the start-finish line. Caution is out.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hayes Booth was definitely caught up in that one, and I think it all started with the 75 of Eric Whitner. I think it was just between Eric Whitner, Hayes Booth. I take that back. I don't think the 75 did anything bad. It's going to be really a highlight from Hayes Booth, the number 5 car. just kind of gets stacked up in the middle of a push, gets loose through the tri-oval, and then ultimately comes down into the 75 car.
We'll watch once again here on Maconi Entertainment. See what brought out our first caution of the night here at Talladega. This is down the front stretch right now. So just a little bit of a checkup there. You see the 5 of Hayes Booth's going to check up, going to make contact. But Joey, going down that front stretch, once you're on that gas pedal, it's hard to get that thing to work with you. And unfortunately, we see Ashley Lyle is going to get tagged up in that as well.
Ashley Lyle, that we haven't seen in a while, got caught up in some heavy netcode. Thankfully, this is just the digital version out here, because that would have been quite a severe stopping in terms of speed. And let's see the strategy that's going to play out here on the racetrack, Will, because I don't know how far these trucks can make it in terms of the green flag distance. And here we go. Here's the leaders. Barrett Polimas is going to drag the lead lap cars down onto pit road, and we're only working lap number 5 right now. So this tells me that the trucks can't make it on one stop.
No, and you see right now here, 5 laps into this race, the driver's already down pit road. But you also have to keep in mind, Joey, those drivers that were just involved with our first quote-unquote big one of the night, they all have one fast repair in their back pocket. Although very early in this race, a fast repair for some of those drivers involved might be that difference in seeing them in victory lane.
You're right. The one fast repair has definitely come into effect here. And the one thing you got to manage with that fast repair, I do want to talk about this, is that sometimes you don't want to burn it and use it so early in the race. Is that you got to kind of manage. These are really long pace laps here at Talladega. And if you can come in, have your pit crew fix the damage instead of using that fast repair and kind of save it like an Uno card in your back pocket for later in the race, that's probably the strategy that I would want to do.
Yeah, definitely. On a track like this, there's going to be chaos, calamity. Down those back stretches, a wreck is going to happen here at Talladega, Joey. Just a matter of when, but we still see that 17 machine of Sean Winkler at the top of the grid. We saw that run out of the 17, sort of use both lines. Great job, though, to snag that lead from Connor Berry in that 2.
Sean Winkler, Nathan Ramsey, and Brian Toller did not stop during this yellow flag. Now, I want to rewind in time 1 week ago to Bristol Dirt. Now, there was a couple cars that were able to do the full race without pitting. I believe it was Nicholas Dashlett, and I couldn't remember the other truck that did it, but very different situation that we have here at Talladega. At Bristol Dirt, there's a ton of time that is spent off throttle, right? And then also the yellow flag laps, they start to count pretty quickly there. I think at Talladega, we're going to see these cars have to come down to pit road for fuel, as we saw the majority already make that stop. That might be it, Will.
That might be it here. 6 laps into this race. You see 45 laps here. Some would say it's a shootout, Joey, but at a racetrack like Talladega, it's very long. A lot of decisions have to be made. We saw 3 wide racing there, so although the lap count might be low, the action will be high here. As now we're going to cross the start-finish line here. The pace lights will come off of that pace truck. Just one more time around, we'll be back under green flag here in the eStockCar World Series.
Well, you mentioned it. The pace truck lights are off, and I'm seeing, I think one car came down pit road that time. Patrick O'Toole came down to top off with fuel. So let's keep an eye on the number 44 as things play out in this race, because if this comes down to a fuel strategy game and all of these cars are trying to stretch it on fuel, Patrick O'Toole just put himself in the best place of the cars currently on the racetrack. And still a lot of things to play out, only working laps 7 of 45 here, but we'll just have to keep an eye on that big picture.
Yeah, big picture indeed. 7 laps into this race. Already started to see some pit stops happen here, Joey. Keep in mind here, as we're coming off of last week's race was dirt at Bristol. So a whole different atmosphere, a whole different beast you have to tame here tonight as Winkler in that 17 truck will take us down the backstretch here, still under caution, but awaiting Barney with that green flag.
The truck that I've got my eye on for this restart, Will, is that number 2, Connor Berry. Now, I know that we talk about Connor quite a bit on this show, but he really is one of the top contenders in this championship. Came in here second in the points, just a few points behind Barrett Polimas, who conveniently restarts right there in the 4th position, just a row in front of him. And it's kind of funny how these championship contenders find themselves on the racetrack, and it's certainly no exception here at Talladega.
No exception at all. These drivers have been at it all season long, Joey, but here we go. Pace truck is off the top of the grid. We're going to go green flag racing once again as that 17 truck and that Tide, keeping it clean, truck at the top of the grid will take us to the green flag.
And remember, this start-finish line is very far along the tri-oval, so is the restart zone. These drivers having to wait quite a long time to get on the gas pedal, and here we go. Accelerating up through the gears at Talladega. Barney the flagman viciously waves that green flag. Let's say, hey boys, let's get racing out here.
Yeah, round 1 and 2 right now. Things are getting dicey already. Barrett Polimas is stuck in that danger zone lane for 3rd. You see that pressure now. Ramsey to the top side of that 3 wide situation. Come off a corner number 2 right now. Winkler in that 17 truck still leading the way down the backstretch.
Really impressed that Barrett Polimas was able to keep the acceleration through the middle of the field here. And here you got the 79 and the 17 side by side in turn 3 coming through. Lap number 8, the first lap here on this first restart, and I see Connor Berry moved his way up into that top lane. This is what he did earlier in the race, that he kind of carried the momentum up front, and then once he was clear, he moved down in front of the field like we just saw Barrett Polimas do in the 79. And now look at this, we got 3 wide racing. I believe that's the 38 of Brian Toller trying to move his way up.
In what can only be painted as a masterpiece, we are 3 wide, but side by side for the lead. Green in that 69, Barrett Polimas in that 79 are side by side down the backstretch. We are drag racing. Now going to go 3 wide into 3A battle for the lead into 3 and 4 side by side. 3 wide, that 58 truck on the top side of Edmondson, our race leader, round 4. We have a battle here at Talladega.
Yeah, it's Josh Edmondson all the way up top. Tyler Green there in the middle lane, and Barrett Polimas down low. And one thing that I've started to notice here, Will, is that this very top lane with the setup that are on these trucks, it seems to carry a lot of momentum. And you see Edmondson is going to go ahead and move down to that low lane. We're going to see if this purple truck now, the 89 of Sean Williams, can get pushed out front by Hayes Booth, or if it's going to be that middle lane getting the push from Connor Berry, pushing Tyler Green out to the front with that big momentum run.
Looking like a Jenga puzzle piece right there. You see Green, the 69, and the 2 of Connor Berry just getting split from the middle right in there. The rest of the tower didn't fall, but they came out of there. Now our race leader, Green, that 69, takes us off the corner.
Some blocking going on right now, and here comes Barrett Polimas down low to give a shove to Tyler Green. And I tell you what, these same names keep creeping up to the top, and here comes Keaton Swain, another championship contender, and I believe he was our Bristol Dirt winner. So we got Tyler Green, Connor Berry in the middle, and Keaton Swain up top, and we got 2 rows of 3 wide racing. Copy that, 4 rows of 3 wide racing.
Oh my goodness, we have 1, 2, 3 wide down to corner number 3 right now. All our positions are locked up on that scoring grid. We couldn't score a position if we tried, as we have our leader in 69 of Green going to take us off of 4. Connor Berry's right there, but Polimas is right there as well, as we are 3 wide across the front stretch. Make it lap 12 as Green in the 69 will take us down to corner number 1.
And just the competitor in me, a strategist in me, I see a lot of this top lane carrying a lot of momentum, Will, and I think that if you can get paired up with somebody, and even better, if you can get paired up with three or more, I would take that speed up to the top lane and see what you can do with it. Just hang out up top because I honestly, I think it might be the fastest groove.
As you see, now things are changing ever so quickly here at Talladega. Connor buried to the inside in that two truck around 3 and 4. Gonna spend some time at the penthouse level here at the top of the grid. The two machine of Connor Berry, our race leader down the front stretch.
I cannot stress enough how good these racers are doing on the racetrack right now. We've been 3 wide for multiple laps, and I know that Talladega can fit 3, 4, 5 wide here, but doing 185 miles per hour, getting pushed only inches away from other trucks on the racetrack. It is a lot to handle, and every single competitor out there is doing a fantastic job.
They very are here, 3 wide, row after row after row. In some other leagues, you would see these drivers get what I like to call the speed wobbles, if you will, Joey. Nothing like that here tonight. Only one caution flag on the racetrack so far. 13 laps into this race as Connor Berry, our race leader for the time being, as that 17 truck of Winkler now going to put some heat on that 2 as we cross the line, make a lap 14 down to 1.
Tell you what, I've been pretty impressed with this 17 of Sean Winkler. Qualified all the way back there in the 14th place position, but he's been a consistent front runner. I've been seeing that Tide car, that number 17, stay out front, so have to keep an eye on him, kind of flying under the radar in qualifying, but getting it done here in the race. And you see more trucks duck out to that very top groove there. Believe that is the number 30 of Vinny Tigner back there, and it's the first time we've mentioned Vinny here this broadcast.
Yeah, some other drivers raised up the grid. We're seeing some names fall down the grid as well. We look at Paul Mikologic now down at 12th, Riley Marabello in that 92 machine at 11th. We look at Whitner in that 75. Edmondson in that 58. Machine has slid down to 9th. So drivers getting flushed out from these 3 wide situations. But right now we see that 30 machine right here in the mix of another 3 wide battle. I believe, Joey, this is a scoring for 4th on the racetrack.
Connor Berry and Tyler Green, when they get hooked up, this is what I'm seeing, is that if you get 2 trucks really hooked up, they're able to carry a lot of momentum and get a pretty big run. But I still think with the racing we're seeing and how good that top groove is able to hang out, it's not formed up very well, and it's still able to carry that speed and that momentum. I think that if you get you plus a teammate or you plus 2, you could really take off in that outside lane.
Yeah, no lanes really giving way so far. Barrett Polimus leading the top side lane. We also see the 17 truck of Winkler leading the middle lane. And Connor Berry, our race leader, leading that low side lane. Every lane trying to give it their all as we're down the backstretch right now. Connor Berry, our race leader. You touched on it, Joey. Trying to show out a little bit here in the eStockCar World Series.
Well, this middle lane is pretty aggressive because you got Hayes Booth, and now you see the 17 move down to that low lane, and all of a sudden that middle lane only has 2 trucks in it. We're going to see if Keaton Swain can push Hayes Booth here in this middle groove, and ooh, big loose moment for the 17 coming off of turn 4, getting a push from Connor Berry. It can go sketchy pretty fast if you don't get a square push on that bumper.
My goodness, Joey, that could have been disastrous for the entire field right there as our leader got a little wobbly at the top of the grid, as now we're starting to see a little blinking taking place here on Maconi Entertainment. The 17 machine of Winkler trying to build up something there with Hayes Booth in the 5. Currently, though, the low side lane is the lane to go as Barrett Polimus, now our race leader, down in corner number 3, being pushed by Connor Berry in that 2.
Well, I tell you what, Barrett Polimus went to the top side, got clear of everybody, and then took the race lead down to the more formed up bottom groove. And I don't blame him. I'm sitting over here saying the top groove is the way to go, but it's only the way to go if you have teammates and friends up there to help you. And right now, the bottom lane is the most organized, but Hayes Booth, Keaton Swain doing a really good job up there in that top groove, and in fact, led that lap with the 17 of Sean Winkler out front.
You see right now we're riding on board Barrett Polimus in that 79 machine here live on Maconi Entertainment. We are 18 laps into this race here in the eStockCar World Series. Last week we took on the dirt that is Bristol Motor Speedway. Here tonight we take on the high banks, and Darth Vader himself now has some of Luke Skywalker energy battling to the top side as a 17 of Winkler is now battling for the lead around 3 and 4.
And it's calmed down just a little bit. Now, calm down here at Talladega means 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back until about 12th, 15th place. But one thing I'm seeing is that there's only a couple trucks that are kind of tailing off of the draft here. The majority of the group is still just in this lead pack. And here we see them coming up on Ashley Lyle, staying all the way up top, doing a great job to not get in the way of these trucks coming much, much faster here in the pack.
And you see the pack now readjusting down the backstretch down to corner number 3. You see Barrett Polimus there on the inside. Barrett Polimus having a very strong season so far here as you come around 3 and 4. What a beautiful shot, Joey, here on Maconi Entertainment.
You see Connor Berry move up to the top groove in front of the 17. That opens the door for Barrett Polimus now in the 79 to go down low and take the lead, but we're going to see who actually leads at the stripe here, who gets the better push, and I believe it was actually Connor Berry by the time they crossed the start-finish line who had the lead. And Will, we mentioned how far down the track that start-finish line is, and that's going to play a role in who wins this race.
It sure will. Here tonight, Joey, always very close finishes here at the high banks of Talladega, as this race has been very, very tight. Joey, no separation in position all the way down that grid. As we're around 3 and 4, you see the 17 truck, though, have to readjust huge, get out of the draft of Hayes Booth in that 5. The 17 truck now is stuck on Revis Island all by himself. He's going to watch these trucks blow by as the 17 truck of Winkler down touches the wall on the top side. You see him just scrape that wall. Things have gone from bad to worse for the 17, Joey.
Yeah, and I know that he got into the back of Connor Berry a little bit going through turns 3 and 4. Don't think it was anything malicious, and then it just kind of continued into the tri-oval. He was trying to get back in line and unfortunately made some contact with the wall, and you see the right side damage on that car. If he loses this draft, it's going to be pretty tough luck for the 17 out there.
Yeah, still back up to the top of the grid right now. Connor Berry in that 2 trying to hold off Barrett Polimus in the 79. Barrett Polimus going to jump to the top side lane to use a little bit of those Hot Wheel boosters to get a push from Hayes Booth in that 5. We've seen what Hayes Booth pushing can do for our drivers here tonight. Now Barrett Polimus to the low side here, crossing the line. Make it lap 22 as this action has not slowed from the drop of the green flag. Barrett Polimus, our race leader.
And I'm kind of chuckling to myself over here because I see Barrett Polimus and Connor Berry, Tyler Green, Keaton Swain, Hayes Booth, this entire top 5 here. They're kind of messing with each other because they go up, they push one to the lead, and then they draft around them. Then they take the lead down low, and then one gets pushed up top. And it's just like who can get out front and stay out front, because any one of these top 5 have proven that they have the speed and the knowledge to get there.
Yeah, low side, though, looks to be pretty fast right now. As you see, no! Big wreck on the front stretch right now. Hayes Booth in the 5 will be involved. Trucks are crashing on the top side. No caution. Caution lights are now out on the racetrack, Joey. That's Tiger right there. Tigner right there in that 30 machine. That GoPro machine right there, Joey. A lot of trucks involved on that front stretch.
Yeah, it was Christopher Fathke in the 08 is the one who triggered this wreck here going through the tri-oval. And this is a classic case of aero wash. And You see him trying to turn the truck in the tri-oval, but the front end just doesn't turn and he washes straight up into the number 5 car of Hayes Booth. And then from there, it is just dominoes collecting multiple others.
Yeah, we've talked about it here on tonight's broadcast. You know, how this race is done, Joey. We've seen those 3 wide situations, very, very tight 2x2x2 on the racetrack. Only a couple of cautions, though, Joey. That's only our second on-track caution of the night. So, very close racing, but very competitive and respectable of the other driver out there.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a shame that that wreck happened. It was no malicious intent. It was no blocking. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It was just a little bit of understeer and miscalculation through the tri-oval, and those things happen here at Talladega. And Will, this is what I've been waiting for, is that are we going to see the majority of these cars come down pit road? And yes, we do see them. Barrett Polimas is going to lead Connor Berry, Tyler Green, and the rest of these lead lap cars down pit road. And important to note that fast repair, if you're able to save it, it's kind of like the lifeline for these cars that were involved in that wreck. You get the full course yellow, come down pit road, get that magic fast repair, get back out on the track, and get back up to speed.
As it looks like we had a truck overshoot their pit box by just a little bit. We did see a bit of a shakeup there in those last rounds of pit stops. So let's see how this field will get shuffled here. As it looks like Barrett Polimas is going to lose a few spots on that grid. Just some other drivers driving off pit road right now. Joey, as we creep up to the halfway mark of this race, how important is this pit stop to put you in victory lane?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to stop for fuel, and I think this was the perfect opportunity to have that happen. And looks like Connor Berry's actually going to lead the field out of pit road. Nathan Ramsey in the number 4 is actually scored as your leader. I think he might have snuck in before that yellow, so maybe just got lucky with the strategy on that number 4. We'll have to go back and take a look. But right now, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with this restart and the final half of this eStockCar World Series race.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
There is a reason that Maconi Setup Shop is partnered with more real-world tracks and companies, including Junior Motorsports, than any other group on the iRacing service.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, we are back here at the eStockCar World Series. You're seeing the number 4 car of Nathan Ramsey, our current leader. Connor Berry there in the number 2 truck, conveniently in the second place position. And Nathan Ramsey snuck into the pits. He had a convenient stop here before the before the yellow flag came out. And tell you what, just by coincidence, he is on the lead lap and able to get this lead wrestled away from these front runners. And I'm curious, Will, this is a car that started way back in the 22nd position, now leading this race on a restart. And if you're these other trucks like Connor Berry or Josh Edmondson, Sean Winkler, it's a little bit of an unknown on this restart. How quickly is the 4 going to get up to speed?
Yeah, we'll see here. Nathan Ramsey in that 4 machine, and that's exactly what I was thinking about as well, Joey, on this restart. But what I'm also interested in on this restart is how hungry these drivers are going to be. We saw that action during, I would say, a good half of the portion of that run there. 3 wide, 4 wide. Do we get right back to that pace, the drop of the green flag? We will wait and see, but for now, it will be Nathan Ramsey in that 4 machine taking us to the green flag.
You got to remember, it's way down here that they start to accelerate through the restart zone. And Nathan Ramsey's got the 89 of Sean Williams right behind him and starts to scoot up the racetrack just a little bit. And that's what I was talking about. A little bit of a variable from the number 4 car on the restart. But looks like Connor Berry's got his friend in Tyler Green and also the 17 of Sean Winkler. They're all paired up on the top side, and I think we're going to see them be able to continue the acceleration up through the gears and take a hold of this race one more time.
Yeah, Connor Berry shoots down the top side lane as our race leader, as you said, has his homies, has his amigos on that top side lane down into 3. Connor Berry's a man on a mission here tonight. Has been a top 5 truck all night long as you come around 3 and 4. Connor Berry in that 2 machine. Take us off the corner as our race leader.
Connor Berry getting that big push from Tyler Green, and there's been a lot of trucks that have come and gone at the front so far tonight, but Connor Berry's been one of the front runners, and kind of the unsung hero is that number 69 truck. Now, he started on the pole position, but throughout the race, he really has been more of a pushing truck rather than the truck out front, and he's been able to push a lot of these competitors straight out to the lead, and wonder what his strategy is going to be for the end of the race.
Yeah, we'll wait and see here as we watch this beautiful bump drive. Oh, no! He takes out Connor Berry on the backstretch. Oh my goodness. Green in that 69 machine will flat out dunk Connor Berry in that 2 down the backstretch. I was just about to mention, I wonder how difficult it has to be to bump draft. He just showed us that down the backstretch there, Joey. Wow.
Yeah, and no yellow flag yet on the racetrack, so unfortunately Connor Berry is going to lose the draft, and it was just a bump gone wrong down the back straightaway that it got him loose off to the right side of the racetrack, and then got a second bump that essentially hooked him left. And you see, I don't see any damage on the truck, but he has lost the draft, and Connor Berry's got to hope for a yellow flag now.
Oh my goodness, what a disastrous turn of events it is for that 2 truck here tonight. But it looks like we have a new race leader. That is Tollier in that 38 machine, who has essentially come out of nowhere looking so fresh and so clean in that all-white machine here tonight down the backstretch. 38 machine, or front stretch, excuse me, make it 17 laps to go. Tollier, our race leader, down to 1.
Yeah, and Brian Toller, you got to remember that he started last. He did not put in that qualifying effort, and he was gridded 23rd of the 23 trucks. So he has worked his way all the way back up to the lead here. And see Paul Mikologic. This is a name that we reference quite a bit in this series, but one of the first times we've seen the 77 out front. I saw him pushing some trucks earlier, but Paul Mikologic trying to get that clean air for himself, and now we're going to work by a lapped truck. Looks like they're going to stay on the apron, down low, away from this pack. Good job from what I believe is the number 34 of AJ Marsh down there with heavy damage to that truck, letting these leaders go by, but it continues to be Brian Toller out front, getting that push from the number 30 there, Vinny, and Paul Mikologic on the outside.
Yeah, Tolo taking it across the line, make it 16 laps to go. Paul Mikologic's trying to channel his inner Wawa energy here tonight. I gotta say, I had one of those chicken bruschetta sandwiches for lunch. It was absolutely delicious. I gotta hope that we see that Wawa machine in victory lane here tonight. Paul Mikologic trying to hold that top side down into corner number 3.
Once again, we're seeing this high lane really be able to produce some good momentum, and number 77 is sticking there. He's got the the 58 of Josh Edmondson, who's been pushing him back there in that black truck, second in line on the top row, and Josh trying to push his way up to the front by pushing that 77, but here we go. Let's see who crosses start-finish line first this lap. It's the 38.
Yeah, very tight still right now into 1 and 2. We are 2 by 2 for the race lead. Tullier, though, starting to drift up just a little bit from that low side as we come off of 2. This beautiful shot here on Maconi Entertainment.
The front of this race has definitely changed shape a little bit in terms of the players involved. However, you look at these trucks and they are all clean. They've stayed out of the scrum all race. And like you mentioned it, Will, we're working 15 laps to go. And I'm seeing a few of these regular names like Barrett Polima start talking on the radio because I believe he's got Nathan Ramsey in front of him. And the Ford just seems to be a little bit unstable out on the racetrack.
Yeah, and you touched on it there. Joey's going to cross the line right now, make it 14 laps to go down into 1. Basically a reshuffle of names inside the top 5 right now. Drivers that we weren't really, all respect to them, that we weren't really paying attention to there in the first half of this race. Now it is a mixed bag of drivers there at the top. Of course, we've seen that 17 truck here tonight have a strong run. But other than that, these drivers here, come on, very strong in the tail end of this race.
Absolutely, and we jump back. I see, the 75 Eric Whitner back there, 30 of Vinny Tigner, Josh Edmondson, Chris Fathke is in there. One of the trucks that was one of our front runners that has stayed up there, he's a little bit undercover. Will you see who's in that low lane row number 3? That's the number 17, Sean Winkler.
Yeah, Winkler just been very quiet and coy inside the top 5 here tonight. Hasn't really drifted out. Has battled through those 3 wide, 4 wide circumstances in some cases there, Joey. Just kept it clean in that Tide machine here. Always Tide Pods getting it done for me. It's getting it done for him here tonight. That 17 truck on the inside lane down to 3.
And one thing that we saw, I think, in the first half of the race is the organization was a little bit tighter, a little bit closer at the front. And now we're seeing these trucks kind of, I don't want to say spread apart, but there's about a half a trunk like separating each one of them. Is a little bit of a weird moment out of the 69 of Tyler Green there. And I would say when they're unorganized like this, we don't see the big momentum runs. You really got to get hooked up with a teammate or get a big push to carry that momentum by these big drafting trains. And I just don't see the organization right now.
Yeah, we're 12 laps to go. We come off of corner number 2, that low side lane. It's still very frozen in time right now, Joey, as we look now. Counting down these laps, what do you see as this race is playing out? What do you see being a factor in how we close this race out? Because you just mentioned here, we're just basically frozen. Everybody's drafting, everybody's staying in place. It's very hard to battle for position right now.
Yeah, it can be pretty tough, but I think that as long as you can find a friend out there, anything is possible. And if you can find 2 or more friends, you're in a better situation. But I mentioned it, it's the organization. You got to get organized. And I see the 69 of Tyler Green trying to the middle quite a few times. And interested to see that one. I really think it's going to be about finding a pairing to push towards the front. And if I was the 69, I see that 17 right in front of me. I know the 17's been fast. I think that's who I would try to team up with. And even better, I look behind me, I got Hayes Booth. If we can get on the radio with us 3, I think that's 3 very fast trucks that could go out there and get it done.
Yeah, you speak about fast trucks, but they're still trying to be faster than our race leader Tolier in that 38 machine. Just laid down the fastest lap of the race on that inside lane. Gonna take us around the front stretch right now. Make it 10 laps to go. Down to corner number 1. Tolier in that 38, our race leader.
And Connor Berry's just trying to hang on to this lead lap pack. He let them by on the apron, and I see since his little off-track incident, he's got some damage on the back of his truck, but looks like he might have been able to catch this draft pack, and he's not going to be the first car one lap down. That belongs to Ashley Lyle in the number 51 truck. But, you know, not all hope is lost if a yellow flag comes out for Connor Berry.
No, Connor Berry just trying to hang on to hope that he sees that yellow light start to flash on that catch fence. But, you know, Joey, we just touched on it there. Ashley Lyle back in the field here tonight. Had to go through some off-the-track issues. Now, great to see that truck back in the mix here. Ashley Lyle came on strong here in the eStockCar World Series. Won an event here in this series. Had to take a few races off. Now back to see that truck here in the field is great to see. Ashley Lyle not having the night that she probably hoped for, Joey, but really trying to pick up back where she left off during that hot part of the season.
Right now, it's still Brian Toller out front being pushed by the 30 of Vinny Tigner. Paul Mikulajic getting the push from Josh Edmondson on the outside. And these are your two pairs, call it, that are battling for the lead right now. Under 10 laps to go. Remember, only 45 laps that these competitors are doing here at Talladega. Almost like a little sprint for them. And look at this. It's already crunch time. Who's going to be your teammate? Who's going to be your pushing partner? Because you got to start to line that up.
You got to find your partner right now. You got to start to calculate when you're going to pull those moves out here tonight with 8 laps to go. Tolier in that 38 knows he's got a long way to go. Joey, he knows that the magic, the moves are not over with here tonight as we're down the backstretch here with 8 laps to go.
Now, I know I've mentioned Tyler Green a few times, and the last time I mentioned him, he turned Connor Berry on the back straightaway, which wasn't the, what we wanted to see, but he keeps trying this middle lane, and it makes me nervous every time he looks into the middle lane, because I'm not sure if the two low lane plus high line are aware that he is doing it, and things just seem to get really, really tight, and here comes this top lane starting to come in here. This is Hayes Booth trying to push his way up towards the front, and he's got 3 cars. Ashley Lyle also trying to push. Ashley Lyle in the 51 now tucks back in line. That car is 1 lap down, but I believe it's the 75 of Eric Whitner trying to get that push. And here we got contact off of 2.
Trucks make contact off of corner number 2. No caution. There has to be a caution, Joey, as trucks are piled up on the back.
There's the yellow flag. Yep, yellow flag on the racetrack for sure. Looks like Eric Whitner here. He was involved in it, but I believe it all started. If we ride on board with Tyler Green, he's pushing the middle again, and I mentioned it a couple times, and he's putting his nose in a couple areas, and I just think the 69 maybe should have lifted just a little bit there, given that they were already 3 wide in front of him. I'm not quite sure where he thought he was going to go with this one. You see the 69 is able to get away from that. A few cars involved. Like I said, Eric Whitner involved, and what that's going to do is it's going to give the opportunity here for the wave by, and also probably, let's see, Will, who's the first car 1 lap down? Is it still Ashley Lyle? It looks like it.
It may be the 51 of Ashley Lyle. We just saw her bouncing from the top side lane to the low side lane. The 51, I just touched on it. Great to have her back into this field here tonight. It would be even better to see her finish on the lead lap.
Well, and I think she might have already got the wave by, or maybe got around getting her lap back, and then I think Connor Berry is going to be the next one. There's actually a couple trucks that are one lap down. I'll see Keaton Swain back there one lap down, so I'm curious to see how the race admins are going to play this. Also, I think all the trucks should be good on the fuel strategy, so I don't think we're going to see anybody have to come down pit road this time. And as I say that, looks like Vinny Tigner led probably a handful of cars, and I think we're seeing these cars come down now based off of the damage we're seeing. Will come down and get some of that fixed.
Yeah, heavy damage to these trucks down pit road right now. And Joey, as you look at 5 laps to go, what's going to be the strategy here? As things settle back in, are you just going pedal to the floor at the drop of the green flag? Are you settling in for a lap or two to see where your opportunity is? Or how do you play this restart?
Well, I think we're going to be getting 3 laps to go once we get going here, and have to check. I'm not sure if we got green-white checkers here in this finish here. I'm double checking here to make sure, see what we've got. Don't see any notes here on that one, so we'll just have to see that, but could be a very quick end to this race. As we're getting a little bit more action here. It looks like the 51, Ashley Lyle, coming up off of the racetrack, gets into, I believe that was the 58 of Josh Edmondson. Will, what do you think about that? And then Ashley Lyle disconnected.
Yeah, that's a crazy turn of events here. 5 laps to go. Looks like a penalty will be issued there for whatever happened under caution here. We just talked about the 51 being back on the lead lap with that. Crazy turn of events here with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm going back to see if there was anything that really happened between the 51 and the 58, and I don't really see anything that was going on. You know, maybe the yeah, I'm not sure. Will, you know, I love drama. That's why I'm going back and looking at it so much. You know, I love stirring the pot. It's one of the most fun things to do. And there's certainly some stuff here that we're going to have to try to discover post-race.
Yeah, and we're watching it. Oh, my goodness. Watching it here live on Maconi Entertainment, and that looked a little crazy, Joey. I gotta say here on that replay, the 51 either I could say maybe just lost the hold of the wheel and the wheel jerked to the right, as Bubba Wallace once said. It's you know how these things steer. So we watched it right there. The 51 machine could have had a Bubba Wallace issue there, Joey, where the steering just may have given way.
Yeah, you know, let's play along. It could have been a wheel disconnect. It could have been an equipment malfunction out there, and that's what we saw out of the 51.
Exactly.
Just got to get the story straight for the post-race interview.
Right. The equipment failure.
To take our mind back to the race at hand here, Will, we're going to be restarting with 3 laps to go. Brian Toller, who started this race in the very, very last position, going to be restarting on the lead, in control of the field. Paul Mikologic outside, but I really feel who is going to be able to get up there and push the best? Is it going to be Josh Edmondson, or is it going to be the 17 of Sean Winkler?
I think there's another driver that you need to keep your eye out on as well. That's Barrett Bolamus in that 79 machine. Yes, going to restart in around the 7th or 8th position, but watch out. This pace, when this green flag flies, we're going to have crazy 3 wide events. Drivers trying to make big pushes to the top of the grid. That 79 has tasted what that penthouse feels like. He wants it back in that 79 machine.
Well, and I'm also noticing that the 58 right now has heavy damage to the front left and left side of his truck, and might not cost him too much on the acceleration lap, but once they are up to speed, I gotta think that the 58 is going to kind of be like a rock out there at such an aerodynamic track, but we'll have to wait and see as The pace truck has pulled off. It is on pit lane. Brian Toller looks up at Barney the Flagman, who's got that green flag, and he is already on the gas. Very early restart from the 38 of Brian Toller, and I'm not so sure if this is going to be a good thing for the 38. I mentioned you got to get paired up here, and the quicker you can get paired up with a buddy, the more momentum you can carry. And really, I've got my eye on probably Barrett Polimas back here in the number 79. He's the first truck paired up with the 81 of Matthew Jarrett.
Yeah, my race pick here, the 79 machine, Barrett Polimas. You saw him restarting in the 7th or 8th position to watch as that 79 machine will climb up the grid. Meanwhile, you see Tollier have an issue down the front stretch, pulls out of that lead back on the apron. Tollier is out of this race right now with 3 laps to go. Come around 3 and 4, we have a 3-wide battle for a second coming off the last corner down the front stretch.
Yeah, look at this. 3 wide for 15 cars battling it out for the lead, and looks like Sean Winkler, Paul Mikulajic, and Matthew Jarrett all trying to get to the front of this grid, and it is gonna be a draft pack. It's like the Costco parking lot out there, but they're doing 180 miles an hour.
2 laps to go here in Sweet Home, Alabama, as we watch these drivers down the backstretch here tonight. Paul Mikulajic, our current race leader, rocking that Luka Doncic number 77 down to corner number 3.
We got action on the back straightaway contact. We got cars wrecking and a yellow flag right now. Gonna have to go back and see exactly what the cause of this was. Looks like Matthew Jarrett was involved. I believe the number 90 of John Lynch might have had the hand in this one, getting in contact with the number 30 car, and then you see just the dominoes fall after that contact.
Yeah, right there. But Joey, watch where this incident takes place. Could have involved a lot more trucks on the racetrack, but before this caution flag flew, something happened with Tollier that caused him to have to pull out of line. Our race leader there on that restart literally pulled himself out of this race.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but it was definitely a plan of his, and I think that might have been one of the reasons why he jumped on that start so early, is to not affect any of those cars behind him. But yeah, interesting strategy. See how it all plays out, and I see him down on pit road right now, but our race leader, Paul Mikulajic, in the 77, that's going to be crucial because he will be the lead car dictating the restart on this one, but bigger in terms of the race, Will. Look at the number 2. He had that incident. He went down a full lap. He got the wave by the last full course yellow, and now he's all the way back up into the 12th place position, primed to pick up a few more points after a day that wasn't looking so good.
Yeah, Connor Berry could just mess around and end up inside the top 10 here tonight. That 2 machine was the race leader. Unfortunately, gets dumped down the back. She's going to turn things right around for that 2, though, top 10 here tonight, Joey. And we look back at that lead spot. Paul Mikulajic currently 6th in the points. One of those high point total racers in this eStockCar World Series without a win. Currently, right now, average start 7th, average finish 12th, so not the best season so far. I know a win for that 77 will turn things right around as we creep towards the end of this season.
Well, you mentioned it. In terms of our championship frontrunners, Paul Mikulajic is our highest placed championship contender right now. He's tied for 6th place, and you're right, a win would go huge for this number 77 truck to help boost him up there in the standings. And a couple other good point stays. Barrett Polimas sitting there inside the top 5. Barrett, our current points leader at 196 total points right now. And so really good points haul for the 79. Going back a few more, Connor Berry, Christopher Fathke also involved there. He's 11th, 12th place, that number 2, and also number 08. So with 3 green-white checkered attempts, we're going to see if these championship contenders stay up front and claim those points for themselves, or if there's going to be more hazard conditions out on the racetrack.
As we watch and hear, still under caution from Talladega, Paul Mikologic, our race leader. Green S69 currently in second. Hayes Booth is in third. We see Dash Soleil, who's had a quietly great night in that 23 machine, Joey, up to fourth. Barrett Paul Hemus up to fifth. Edmondson in sixth. Tigner in seventh. Marabello in eighth. Williams in ninth. And Nesson will be our top 10 on the racetrack.
And just to read things out for everybody, get everybody's name said. Connor Berry there in 11th, Christopher Fathke 12th, Eric Whitner 13th, Matthew Hofert 14th, Patrick O'Toole, Sean Winkler, Nathan Ramsey, Keaton Swain all the way back there in the 18th spot. I'll mention him here in a minute. Matthew Jarrett, who was just involved, he was running up front there. And then you got John Lynch rounding out the top 20. He's the first car that's actually one lap down out on the racetrack. He's just getting back running. And Brian Toller, AJ Marsh, and unfortunately, the drama pot, Ashley Lyle back there in the number 51. I really hope that we can get maybe Josh Edmondson or Ashley into the commentary booth after this race so we can get some interviews. Because like I said, I love a good dirt pie.
It's going to be mucho caliente up here in the booth if you do that, Joey. Very spicy.
Oh, looks like maybe the number 51 has gone more than just exited this race, but we'll have to get some more info maybe post-race on that one because, like I said, I love it. But lights out on the pace truck. Will pull out that crystal ball. This is the first of the 3 green-white checkered attempts. Now, who is your pick to win this one?
Ooh, I think I've been hitting them pretty good here on Maconi Entertainment. I think right now you still have to keep your eye out on Barrett Polimus in that 79. We watched it there on that last restart. Was able to find a friend fast. Was battling up there on the top side lane. Then that caution flag flew. So watch out here as we close things out here at Talladega. But Joey, who are you watching out for here on this restart?
I think if I'm looking out for the restart, I've got my eye on... I'm actually going to go way to the back. Going to go back to the number 21 truck. He's sitting in 17th place right now, Keaton Swain. But Keaton Swain finally back out on the lead lap. He's proven that he's one of the fastest trucks out there when he's got something clean. I don't see any damage on that 21. And got to remember, he won last week at the Bristol dirt track, and very different here at the Super Speedway of Talladega. But you got to think the 21 wants to collect as many points as possible, and that means being as aggressive as possible right now.
Yeah, you see Swain right there in the 18th position, but here we go, Joey. We're going to creep and creep and creep our way down that front stretch through the Geico restart zone. Barney is ready, so are we, as we await the drop of the green flag. Paul Mikologic will take us through the Geico restart zone into the start-finish line. Green flag is in the air.
Actually, a really good restart from the 69 of Tyler Green. Beats Paul Mikologic to the line, but it is the trucks that are behind that are formed up the best. And look at this low lane looking really strong. And already got contact out of Tyler Green as he tried to go down and side draft that lower lane. And we officially have the big one at Talladega.
Big one right there on 3 and 4. Green in that 69 been very strong here tonight as we watch this replay here on Maconi Entertainment. Bit of a stacking up process there on the low side lane. It's going to cause all sorts of calamity, all sorts of craziness as Green's going to try to save it on the top side there, Joey. Not going to be enough as you see so many other trucks involved. Is that Connor Berry in the 2 going to be involved there?
No, Connor Berry got by. He's actually sitting in 5th place.
There we go. Yes, sir.
What escape from the 2 truck of Connor Berry, but I see a lot of trucks involved in this one. Just heavy damage to a lot of the front runners with Tyler Green, who was the lead truck on the outside, And, I looked at this incident quite a few times, Will, and the 69 is coming down. He's trying to side draft down across the lower lane and doesn't necessarily do anything wrong. I think it was a little bit of net code from a push behind him, a bad push, and unfortunately it caught up to the 69 of Tyler Green.
It surely did, and you hate to see it of the 69 machine of Tyler Green. He's had a great run here tonight. It's been quietly inside that top 5, just constantly battling through the challenges that Talladega proceeds. To have your night ended like that, it has to be very disappointing, but one driver that's very loving this race here tonight is ready for a late night Wawa snack run. It's Paul McLogic, and that's 77, currently our race leader.
Wawa indeed, and I used to live in Virginia. I do love Wawa, but while we still have the pace lights out or on the truck, actually look at this. The 77's coming down pit road. Might be bringing a few. I wonder if some of these trucks are short on fuel, and gonna have to keep an eye on that. But we're gonna take a quick commercial break and be right back with one more green-white checkered attempt.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
There is a reason that Maconi Setup Shop is partnered with more real-world tracks and companies, including Junior Motorsports, than any other group on the iRacing service.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
if that's just the front competitor saying, hey, you know what, we have the potential for wheel spin here. Let's just get everything rolling and then get to racing. As the number 5 of Hayes Booth already on the gas, accelerating up through the gears. The Riley Marabello number 92 car wisely tucks down in line because he has no help behind him. And here comes Connor Berry in the number 2 car. What a comeback from Connor Berry to find himself inside the top 3.
As the field comes roaring off of corner number 2 down the backstretch right now, being led by Hayes Booth in the 5 machine. Things are getting slicing and dicing down the backstretch here with 2 laps to go here as we dig down to corner number 3.
And now we see Connor Berry move to that high groove, getting the push from, I believe that's the 58 of Josh Edmondson back there. And looks like it's Hayes Booth and Riley Marabello staying teamed up on that low line, and believe that might be the 89 of Sean Williams getting the push from Wawa, Paul Mikulajic himself, and ooh, Hayes Booth, a little bit of a bad push. That's going to break up the low groove.
Yes, things are getting crazy right now. Around 1 and 2, Connor Berry, our race leader on the final lap. Coming off of corner number 2, has a battle from Williams on that top side. Things are getting crazy down the backstretch. Now Williams, our race leader, trying to shake off the rest of the field with T-Swizzle on that hood. We're 3 wide down to corner number 3.
We're 4 wide going into turn 3.
No!
And Keaton Swain and Connor Berry make contact. Hayes Booth, oh no, Hayes is now collected. Literally everybody is collected in this wreck. Who is out front? That is going to be Patrick O'Toole in the number 44 is going to cross the line as our race winner. We did not see this one coming. Patrick O'Toole survives at Talladega.
Wow, Patrick O'Toole looking like Patrice O'Houlihan here tonight. He ducked, dodged, and dove his way to a victory here tonight. A crazy finish around 3 and 4. He survives as a race winner here tonight, Talladega.
You know, I'm chuckling a little bit. He's got a little bit of damage. Not too much on the front end of this car, but there is not very many healthy cars that survived that wreck. It all started with the front lanes, Keaton Swain and Connor Berry getting into it there in Speedway Turn 3. I thought it was Hayes Booth in the number 5 car that had everybody clear, but you see all of these cars get collected, and it's only Patrick O'Toole being able to escape the mess. Is literally everyone involved in tire smoke and rubble.
Yeah, we'll take another look at that here on Maconi Entertainment to see what was the first domino to fall. As you're exactly right there, Joey. Almost every single truck that we've called out here tonight involved in this, I'd say, mess, if you will. As you see the 89 of Williams' top side here down into 3. We'll see what started this just domino effect. See, Connor Berry was racing very strong, but we can't miss the burnout of O'Toole in that 44.
Yeah, Patrick O'Toole was burning them down here at Talladega, parks it on the start-finish line. Here you see the smoke show that the 44 provided all of these fans out here, and rightfully so, started way back there in the 17th spot, up 16 to take home the surprise checkered flag and win. We're going to take a quick break and be right back to cover that replay and your finishing results. at Maconi Entertainment for the eStockCar World Series, and you're seeing the action as they entered Speedway 3 here. Keaton Swain in the 21 in the middle, Connor Berry in the number 2 down low. This is kind of where it all starts. They make a little bit of contact, and from that side-to-side contact, you see both trucks just go up the racetrack, and I'm not sure if the 21 got a little bit loose there. I'm not sure if he got a little bit of a push from behind that got him loose that started it all, but I tell you what, the truck that was way in the back, see that silver and red truck back there? That's Patrick O'Toole. He is the one that comes home to claim the checkered flag, as literally the entire field wrecks here at Talladega turn 3 as the 44 just kind of hits the brakes, finds a hole, and is able to get by and show the finishing results here as the rest of these trucks crash on screen. Patrick O'Toole, your winner in the number 44. Nicholas Dashlett coming home second place in the number 23. Nathan Ramsey in the third place. Sean Williams, and then Paul Mikulajic. Good job for Paul coming home in the top 5. Riley Marabella there in 6th. John Lynch 7th. Josh Edmondson. Barrett Polhemus coming home in the top 10, and Sean Winkler there in the 10th place position.
Yeah, picking up in the 11th position here at these final results. Troy Nelson in the 19 machine. Connor Berry going to finish 12th after all that last lap calamity. Hayes Booth in that 5 will finish 13th. Tyler Green in the 69 will finish 14th here tonight. Keaton Swain, you just talked about it there, Joey, that one of those trucks that was on the top of all of that calamity on that last lap finished 15th here tonight. Brian Tollier, that 38, was really hoping for a better run here. Going to finish a lap down in the 16th position. Matthew Jarrett's going to finish 17th. Matthew Hofford in 18th. Christopher Fathke going to finish 3 laps down here tonight's going to finish 19th. And AJ Marsh will finish out our top 20 in that 34 machine.
And then we just have a couple more. A few laps down, Eric Whitner, Vinny Tigner, and then Ashley Lyle there in the number 51. And that's going to bring us to our interviews, and looks like we already have our race winner, Patrick O'Toole, who's going to be joining us here for an interview. Patrick, congratulations on taking home, I should say, stealing the checkered flag from everybody out there.
Yeah, thank you. This is crazy. I just didn't think that would happen, but it was some Days of Thunder moving right there. I just hung out in the rear because I knew the big one was going to happen. It happened a couple times. I dodged it multiple times. It's crazy that I made it through the big one. I'm pretty pumped to win my first super speedway race in this league. Probably my first win in probably 2 years on a super speedway because I've had some bad luck, but this is a nice way to get back into victory lane on the super speedways.
Well, a huge way to get back into victory lane, and talk to us about that last lap incident, because we saw you were all the way in the back down on that lower groove as part of that group, and then things just started wrecking in front of you. How did you make it through?
Well, I saw the 77 and 78 tag get tangled, so I just let off the gas and just tapped the brake to keep my truck straight. And then the red, white, and blue truck in front of me, can't tell what number it was, he got loose, and I just snuck under him when the 4 truck tagged him.
Well, now looking at the points championship, I know you're a little bit further down, but does this give you a little bit of, I don't know, the confidence boost that you need to go out there and run up front with these guys and start taking home these checkered flags more often?
I agree, it does. We had a shot at winning at Daytona earlier this year and Atlanta, but things happened. But I'm looking forward to Bristol Motor Speedway in a couple weeks, Pocono and Martinsville. Same with Phoenix, the season finale. I'm pretty good at those tracks, so I'm looking forward for the short tracks to end the season.
Well, and looking at the season, one more question for you here. How do you feel about road courses? Because it looks like Sonoma Raceway is coming up in 1 week's time, and that's about as different as it gets from Talladega.
Yeah, it does. I'm not a road racer, but I'm going to go in there and hopefully survive the race and try to steal a top 10 there.
Well, if I can give you some advice, because I come from the road racing world, is that Sonoma is a very tricky racetrack. As long as you can keep the truck pointed straight and on the track, you have a great shot at a finish there, Patrick.
Thank you. I'll take that in consideration, take advantage, because I've been doing road course racing on the officials time to time, but not as much as I should be. But I'm looking forward to Sonoma. It's a fun track, pretty technical, and I think we'll have a good run there.
And last thing, is there anybody that you want to say hi to before we let you go?
Well, I'd like to mention an old league that I used to be in, the OCLL. About 10 years ago, the league started on iRacing, and it shut down a couple years ago due to lack of attendance. But I'd like to give a shout out to Jeff Beck Jr. for getting for starting that league, the OCLL. But it's a legacy league now, so that was a fun league. And I also want to dedicate this win to Chris Munger, who used to be in that league. He passed away unexpectedly a couple years ago, so we're dedicating this win to him.
Thoughts and prayers to the family there, and that's a great dedication. Patrick O'Toole, our race winner here at Talladega for the eStockCar World Series, and I believe we have Nicholas Dashlett now standing by with Will.
Yeah, standing by with Nicholas Dashlett, going to finish second here tonight. That 23 machine's going to avoid everything that happened on that last lap. Nicholas, take us through your race here tonight.
Yeah, I started out the night. I was running up front. Then that first caution came. I came in, just kind of rode around the back. Lost the draft around mid-race, but there was another caution. I ended up cycling back up to the front. That first green white checkered. We were working, trying to get going, and then we were just caught up in that wreck that caught everyone. Had to come in, got a fast repair, restarted behind all the damaged trucks on that last green white checkered. We actually lost the lead pack, and there was a group of 3 of us coming to white flag. We were catching the leaders, and then all chaos just broke loose in turn 3. I just kept my foot in it, did a little Days of Thunder moment, and somehow we ended up getting second.
That's exactly what our race winner said as well. Just a little Days of Thunder energy right through that pack. But Nicholas, one thing that I wanted to ask you about, how different was it going from the dirt at Bristol last week to here, the high banks at Talladega? What was that adjustment like from only 1 week's time?
Bristol, it's a little bit more finesse on the throttle to get it around there, and here you're just holding it wide open, trying to hit the guy in front of you as square as possible in the bumper, trying not to get into him. But it takes a lot of luck here at Talladega to get a good finish, and I guess we had some luck tonight.
Yeah, definitely luck indeed. Gonna roll off second here tonight, Nicholas, in that 23 machine. Gonna avoid that disaster on the last lap you just spoke about there, just powered through. But Nicholas, with that great finish here tonight, we do want to give you that opportunity to shout out anybody you had watching here tonight or any sponsors that made this race possible for you.
I'd like to thank Legion Speed Sport, Factory Sim Sport. I know Keaton was up there. He's Factory Sim Sport teammate, but sucks that he got taken out on that. But yeah, just you guys for putting this on. Connor for putting on the league, and thank you guys.
Yes, sir. Nicholas Dashlett going to finish second here tonight in that 23 machine. Great run here tonight, Nicholas.
And then that's going to be Nate Ramsey now joining us here in the 3rd place position. And Nathan, congratulations on taking home the final podium spot here at the eStockCar World Series at Talladega.
Thank you. That was unexpected, but as we know, Talladega can be unpredictable. What can I say? That was really unexpected. Didn't think the truck was going to finish over the line with an engine, but it worked.
Well, talk us through that. Where were you in that incident coming off of Speedway 3?
So I think I was roughly P12. I'm still trying to embrace what happened. I think I was in P12, and the incident happened, as everyone knows, and just worked my way through it. Got a little touch, but it was great. that was good racing. Considering it was a plate track race, that was some really good racing all around from everyone.
Well, now this is definitely a good points haul for you here, Nathan. And does this give you a little bit more confidence to take that into Sonoma and maybe try to get some better finishes throughout the year and start crawling your way up this points contender championship?
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. A podium always gives you a little bit of confidence. That helps a lot.
And how do you feel about going into Sonoma? I mean, it's such a different track than Talladega. And are you a road course guy? Or are you an oval guy? Where do you think you're going to fit in there?
So I cut my teeth on ovals in the sim. I'm not so much of a road guy, but I'm a dirt road guy. I've spent a bit of time on dirt roads, so we'll see how we go. It'll be interesting. It'll be definitely need to do some practice laps.
Well, I think once the tires get worn out, it'll probably feel pretty similar to those dirt off-road cars.
hmm
And last thing, is there anybody that you want to say hi to, thank before we let you go?
Oh, there's so many people I want to thank. I want to thank, obviously, I've got a couple of sponsors, which are iDrive Sim Training, DGR, which is the team, Digital Global Racing, and the names that I want to mention, they know who they are.
Well, Nathan Ramsey, congratulations on that final podium spot, and we'll see you next week at Sonoma.
Thank you. See ya.
Well, we want to thank tonight's admin team. That's going to do it for us here, as well as our broadcast partners here at Maconi Entertainment. Calling the action tonight was myself, Joey Adbury, alongside Will Tiller in the booth and David Kreutz on the controls. Thanks to all of our viewers for tuning in to tonight's racing action. We hope to see you Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Procast with Michael Cozy Jr. and Ryan Dessette, as well as February 21st for the next race of the eStockCar World Series at Sonoma. Like I was mentioning, it's the second road course of the season. Stay tuned to the Maconi Entertainment social media pages for all of our upcoming broadcasts so you don't miss a thing. And this has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.